And this is neighboring India, but it is an important aspect which concerns Bharat, especially in this region, ladies and gentlemen. Are these radicals which are right now having a moment in the sun, open, free run in Bangladesh, are they state-sponsored? Is the question that we're asking. Why? Because there are extremist elements, designated terrorist elements in Bangladesh who have now been let out, and they are forcefully taking Hindus even from the hands of the police and have been trying to lynch them. While the chief advisor to the Bangladesh's interim government, Mohammad Yunus, has accused Bharat of exaggerating attacks on Hindus and called largely all of these political and nothing communal about it, several videos have emerged showing otherwise, quite the otherwise. Now, this is a video from the 4th of September, just ahead of the murder of this youth, Utsav Mondal, in the Sonadanga police station of Khulna, who was detained over tension following a cricket match. The video shows how some people came and asked for his custody, which the cops refused initially but gave in to the pressure later on and handed him over, following which he was lynched. Then, another video. Another video has emerged from the 7th of September, where at least 27 Hindu individuals from the 2nd ward of Kalmati in Khuniagach Union, Lalmo Nirhat Sadar, Upazila, they were misled with incorrect interpretation of religion, threatened with forced emigration or death, and were made to join the Jamaat-e-Islami. Forced religious conversion material were provided, and signatures were taken on various forms. The chief guest at the event was the Assistant Secretary of the Jamaat-e-Islami of that district, Lalmo Nirhat district branch. Hafiz Muhammad Shah Alam was present there. The 12th article of Jamaat's constitution was read to them during the event, after which they were sworn in according to the non-Muslim oath under Appendix 11 of the constitution. There have been other videos that have surfaced where Hindus have been asked to cut off their thread or janeyu. Women have to wipe off their bindi and take off their Mangal Sutra before they were even given aid in flood-affected areas. In this video from the 7th of September, a Maulana Liaquat Ali could be seen openly saying that those who worship idols were kafir, non-believers, kufr. He could be seen threatening Hindus living in the Satla Nagarkand region of the Upazila of Faridpur district in the division of Dhaka, saying that his Muslim community would not even need an hour to gulp down all the Hindus living in that area. He could also be seen mentioning that any Muslim who is in favor of breaking down the statues of Hindu gods and goddesses has Iman, which means Islamic moral. But the Muslims who are not in favor of breaking these statues are ones devoid of Islamic Iman and will be punished. Maroof Raza.
Well, the thing is that whenever there is instability, communal tensions certainly take a high ground, and people exploit the differences and use that to get more and more people to join the rabble-rousers. But the fact of the matter is that all this, my bigger question is, why was it lying unexploited all these years in Bangladesh? There was no communal fire of this nature just suddenly come into the being with Sheikh Hasina's going away. She was not such a strong man or a strong woman that she could contain all this anti-minority sentiment. And she has now, of course, gone, and Bangladeshis are baying for her blood. But I think the problem is also caretaker Prime Minister Mohammad Yunus is not showing a firm hand in dealing with the challenges. He doesn't seem a strong man. No doubt he's an exceptionally capable economist. But has he put his firm hand down And the army and the police in Bangladesh, they've become just watchers of the confusion that continues to prevail. Bangladesh must remember that they were themselves subjected to what the Pakistan army had put them through before they became free.
Right.
Are they going to allow themselves to repeat the genocide that was there in their country because they were looking at independence and India's support? Anand, there's a point I repeat again and again.
Gee.
India must take a more proactive stance, and India must take a firm stance to say that India will not tolerate any kind of pressure on the minorities. This is a point I've made again and again. India's, at the time of Bangladesh's independence, India's military commanders said so to the elements that were there, that we must guarantee the protection of the minorities. But our great bureaucracy did nothing about it, waved their hands and said it'll all be settled out. And it's not settling down. So I think India there's no need for India's foreign ministry and intelligence agencies to just wait and watch, but give a very clear signal to Bangladesh that you've got this week to sort things out and ensure the protection of minorities, or India will send a peacekeeping force, a peace enforcement force, and will ensure that people are protected. Why aren't we doing it?
No, but the problem there is at this point, Ankita Datta, that the Jamaat-e-Islami is being openly endorsed by the likes of the Chinese envoy. China has openly come out. America is openly endorsing Mohammad Yunus, and they're getting a free run. Ansarullah Bangla's chief has been allowed, and they come out as a big procession and they make announcements, and they're making different kinds of announcements and huge threats that they are making. So the far right in Bangladesh and the far right extremist groups in Bangladesh are getting a free run on the streets. That's what's witnessed. There are other videos which are unconfirmed where flood relief was being promised only after they convert.
Ridiculous. So what I'm saying is...
Maroof, just bringing in Ankita Datta and Sushant Sari, and then I'll come back to you, Maroof. Yes, Ankita Datta.
Yes, Anandji, so when you were mentioning about the role of China, yes, China's role in so these are all interconnected, whatever is happening. And the role of China in stoking disturbances in the Northeast, yes, of course, it has been rightly called out, but the role of the US-backed churches and the American deep state in the ongoing unrest in Manipur, in Bangladesh and Myanmar, it has not received enough attention from the Indian think tanks and policymakers. The main question is, whose geopolitical interests would be served if parts of the Northeast and Myanmar are carved into multiple volatile Christian ethnic states? Who is going to be likely pitted against one another in the ensuing state of affairs? So these are important questions that we need to ponder upon. And we also should not forget that in the recent violence in Manipur, not just Meitei Hindus, but Meitei Christians were also not spared by the Kuki militants. And when I'm talking about Bangladesh, see, for several years, these missionaries, Christian missionaries, in collaboration with Western NGOs, they have been secretly working in the border areas of Bangladesh, India and Myanmar, such as Khagrachari, Rangamati, Arakan province of Myanmar, etc. Their objective is to convert the local Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists and ethnic minorities into Christianity so that the ground can be prepared for a Christian state comprising of lands belonging to India, Bangladesh and Myanmar. There have been several Christian missionary publications which have been carrying out a well-orchestrated propaganda campaign peddling false narratives of Christian persecution in these border areas. And they have even attempted to connect the tribal population of Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar by stating that these Chin Kuki Mizo language speakers are one people, and today they speak related but distinct Tibeto-Burman languages. And at present, the KCNF, which is the Kuki Chin National Front, it is the fastest growing extremist organization in Chittagong and the adjoining areas. It maintains close ties with the Jamatul Ansar, the Sharkia group, and also other like-minded groups operating in Mizoram, the Rakhine state of Myanmar, Manipur, and Bangladesh. And
Right.
see, due to their ethnic homogeneity, it is easy for the militant groups like KCNF to derive support by influencing people from across the border. And
Right.
to
Right.
fill up, to fill up their ranks, they recruit young men and women from different Chin Kuki language-speaking communities in the Chittagong region of Bangladesh.
Right.
And the four major tribes which are non-Christian, the indigenous Chakma, Marma, Tripura, and Thanchangya people, who are largely Hindus and Buddhists, they are regarded as outsiders. And it uses the Jamatul Ansar for spreading terror-related activities within these hilly areas of Bangladesh and Myanmar, and
Right.
as well as the Arakan state of Myanmar, to achieve their real agenda of establishing a separate Christian state
Right.
by disintegrating lands belonging
Right.
to
Sushant.
these three countries.
Yeah, Anand, so I don't disagree with anything Ankita has said. My question again is to my security establishment. Are we such innocent babes in the wood that we did not know all of this is happening? We knew about it. What were we doing about it? Nothing. Look, in a place in the northeast, places like Manipur and all, when a person who joins the IAS or the IPS, the moment he gets allotted a Manipur or a Tripura cadre, he acts as though his life has come to an end. When you have these kind of jokers joining your civil services, what do you expect to happen in states like this? How serious do you expect administration to play a role out there? One. Secondly, you knew all of this is happening. Is the state of India, are the agencies of India so powerless that they cannot counter this, they cannot put up counter forces? Number three, we are actually, we talk a lot about Chanakya Niti, Kautilya, this, that, we talk a lot. What do we do on the ground? So yes, Sheikh Hasina was a good friend, no doubt about it. We could have had some problems with her, she had some problems with us, but just because you are good friends, so the Americans claim they're very good friends of ours, but
Right.
they let their evangelists and all kinds of other missionaries come in and, do mischief out here. What prevents India from developing such leverages in its her neighborhood? Whether it's in Myanmar, whether it's in Bangladesh, whether it's in
Right.
Nepal, whether it's in any of the other countries, why can't we do it? Why is it always that when all hell breaks loose, we act as though we are the victims, that we did not know what is going to happen? Does a serious country with pretensions of being a superpower behave like this? Is this the way you manage national security? It's ridiculous the way we keep cribbing all the time, yeah. It's about time we go and kick some backsides of some
No,
people.
not just that. It's about time we walk the talk. Those who talk about going back to our ancient wisdom, knowledge of our scriptures and all of that, the conversation between Bhishma and Yudhishthira is something that should be as wrote and written in front of every policy maker in our country, especially those dealing with internal security and governance. Because that very clearly says you have to always understand what your enemy is doing, and you need to nip things in the bud rather than allow them to fester and grow. Thank you very much. I have to wind up on that note. I've really run out of time. It's been a very engaging session. Thank you very much, Ankita Datta, Sushant Sareen, and Maroof Raza. Short break. Stay with us.